Yeah, he's looking a bit stressed. A bit stressed indeed. There we go. A little lot of spit fixes anything. What's up? Wow, where would I even begin? Where would I even begin? Thank you, this is my lovely Captain America tie. Unfortunately, Captain America is completely unknown in Japan. I guess it's not surprising, but of all the superheroes from the Marvel and DC universe, he's about the most unknown in Japan. But it is pretty much like an America-specific superhero. It would be really hard to market Captain America in other places, you know, obviously. Spider-Man's huge, Batman's huge, they're fine. But Captain America, I think it's hard to get Japanese people excited about that. Yeah, which I guess is pretty obvious. Thor was always my favorite. Only Danya, you emailed me recently and I haven't written back yet. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people who have emailed me recently. I haven't written back yet. Apologies. Yes, you did. You did. Thanks for making me hungry. That was the sole purpose, I suppose, of sending that to me. Well, actually, fate wishes. This is the funny thing, as it turns out. I actually don't have a life. I have work. Ooh, and now I have a hot bagel sandwich made of mysterious parts of pig, a J-bagel, and some processed cheese. Life is excellent. So, oh man, I think we got a suicide candidate behind me. Yeah, fate wishes. It's sad, but it's true. Work does make money, and money makes life. It's beginning to wear on me. There's it's actually I don't know why I'm discussing my finances with you guys, but I guess I might as well. August 1st, I'm getting paid a big wad of cash from one of the many jobs I've been doing that has been neglecting to pay me for months and months and months. So they're paying me like half a year worth of money all on one day. and it's enough that I could settle all of my tax debt, small personal loan I owe a friend, then maybe buy a new camera for YouTube and like a flat screen TV, maybe something like that, to pimp out my house. But like, it would be enough that I could like basically cover all of my debts, of which I have many, and still like buy one or two cool things for me, and then that money would be gone. Or I could like quit my jobs and take like the next 4 or 5 months, 6 months to just do what I want to do artistically. And there's a lot of things, like working on my Japanese comedy routine, working on my English comedy routine, doing YouTube videos, doing like other like pilot ideas I had for TV shows. So many things I could do if I just had the time and like no work. So it's like this weird balance, and like an opportunity like this doesn't come that often, like where I could basically check out from work for like 4 or 5 months and not worry about it. But and just I just have to live like meagerly for months while working on stuff I don't want to work on, or as I said, pay off my debts and maybe buy some nice shit for me. Save it and invest it is not even a slight possibility, because like for me the best investment it would be in investing in buying myself time so I can do work-wise what I want to do, and hopefully that would lead to bigger and better work, So I've actually talked about this in great depth with a number of friends, and I still haven't figured out what to do. I've got like one more day to think about it, because August 1st, second that money's in my hot little hands, I'm going to have decided what I'm doing, But, like, I need that girlfriend? Nah. Actually, I'm afraid, if anything, buying another fish and putting it in Kenji's tank will just freak him out and stress him out more. I mean, he's been alone, like, for 3 years. I'm not sure he could deal with, like, another, much like myself. I don't think he's capable of cohabitating with other people. I mean, she might carry some fish disease. As for videos, I have 2 videos basically filmed. I just haven't had the time to edit, because editing takes like 6-7 hours. I haven't had that block of time, but I did one about supermarkets, which now that I'm looking at the footage I realize is incredibly boring. But I get many people asking me about what it's like a Japanese supermarket like. But it's not funny in any way. But I got to put it together anyway. And then I went down to Odaiba to check out this enormous statue of Gundam they have down there. But it would be like a 2-minute long video. So it's like, I'm not sure. Like, generally I don't try not to upload videos that are so short. The thing about starting a new genre of the videos called mini life in Tokyo, where it's just a single, a minute or a minute and a half of something weird. Like yesterday, I didn't have my camera there, unfortunately, so I couldn't get it, but yesterday I ate still beating fish heart at a sushi place. Like, they cut up the fish and they take out its heart, put it on a little plate, and the heart is like pulsating on the plate, and you just pop it down like that, That's horrific. But like like something like that, I can't build a whole long 10-minute blog around it. But that's kind of an interesting like 1 minute video. It tasted just like a slimy little piece of tendon. It had no real taste at all. Actually, it didn't even taste fishy. And actually, there was a shiso leaf, which is kind of like a herb, with it as decoration, but I consume that too to hopefully cut down on the nastiness of it, and sprinkle a little bit of soy sauce on it as well, just to make it, somewhat more palatable. Did you say hogwash? It was I was filming it for an NHK TV show, but I'm almost certain they can't use that footage on the show because it's a little bit too gruesome. But I asked the director, and he might give me some video footage from them, like that they took of me eating it. And if I can get him to give me that footage, I'm going to upload it onto YouTube. But it's a little bit legally dubious, me uploading footage shot by the NHK camera people. But fuck it. Yes, the show is called Tokyo Eye. If you search the internet, you can find it. It broadcasts on jibtv.com every Wednesday. But this episode's not going to be on until like probably the middle of August. Yeah, you buy it. The French guy is all over the place. Actually, the French guy is no longer my boss. He has been transferred to news. So now he's in the news department, and I have a new Japanese overlord. I'm as of yet undecided if it's better or worse, but I don't get phone calls every 20 minutes now, which is great. He talks less than the French guy did. So, but I haven't decided whether or not it's better or worse having a Japanese boss directly above me. So, I'm at Tully's, as I often am, in Naples. Actually, I ate at the Tokyo Hard Rock Cafe for the first time about 2 weeks ago with Emily Applemilk, of all people. And it was funny, like we walk in, and the waitress comes over. She's like, smoking or non-smoking. And I said in Japanese, like, we want to sit at the most hard rock table you have. And she thinks for a minute, and she's like, that would be Skid Row. And she takes us over to the Skid Row table. And I was just like, wow, that's the coolest Japanese person I've ever seen in a waitressing position. Like, she didn't even flinch at it. She just thought about, the most hard rock table we have, that would be Skid Row. This way, sir. It was a wonderful moment. It was a wonderful moment. I had the pulled pork sandwich. It was delicious. So I had a lot of respect for that waitress. But then again, there's so many gaijin who go to that restaurant. The staff are probably used to us by now. And they probably even hire people who have, lived abroad a bit, because they all speak English at the restaurant. Basically, they all speak English. What are Japanese movies like? It's an odd question. They're low budget, generally, and if anything, I would say they tend to be like European films. The wide majority are deep and heavy dramatic stories. The comedies are extremely lowbrow when they do comedies. I think Japanese cinema is very similar to European cinema, generally speaking. No, he's pouring over. He's pouring over some sort of work document. Actually, this is about the Japanese movie thing. This is an interesting and small point. Actually, when talking about Japanese movies, one of the few. I mean, I had no interest in Japan before I came here. It was just a place picked almost randomly out of a hat to go. But there's a couple things that I was predisposed to like about Japan. The main one being the films of Akira Kurosawa. When I was like 12 or 13, I got into Kurosawa movies, and that was also part of my just general love of cinema and wanting to become a writer and director. And I loved his movies. I went through like the local public library's collection and Blockbuster Video and everywhere. And so I basically had seen every single Kurosawa film ever. And so when I came to Japan, I thought, like, oh, that's so cool. Maybe I'll get a chance to go see like a Kurosawa film, like actually in a theater, like at a revival or something. And discovered, Japanese movies in Japan don't have subtitles. There's no point for them to subtitle, their movies in their own country. It's like we don't have. It's like go to the theater in America and get like a Japanese subtitled version on one screen and an English version one on the other. So basically, if you're in Japan and you're interested in like Japanese movies, you can't watch any Japanese movies. If I go to like the video rental store, they have all the Kurosawa movies, but none of them have subtitles. They're just the Japanese only version. So actually, I was better off watching those movies back in the States than I was here. Probably similar things to be said about like anime or manga, stuff like that. Like, and I guess, as fate wishes, unless you know Japanese, every like year or so, I rent a Kurosawa film and try to watch it and see how much I can actually understand. And I'm getting better, but I mean, I can understand more than 50% of, I'd say 60-70% of Japanese TV, like general broadcast TV, because it's designed for stupid people. It's meant for people who are morons to sit at home and watch and understand. But Kurosawa films are not. They use the most esoteric Japanese possible, like period Japanese, that is completely impossible for me to understand. So like I think it would be another 10-15 years before I could even begin to understand the dialogue in a Kurosawa film. I mean, especially the ones set in like previous time periods. Like the modern ones I can understand. Like the modern setting ones I can basically understand. But that's the sad reality. Like I moved to Japan in some extent because I like Kurosawa films, but I can't watch Kurosawa films here because I'm in Japan. Bizarre. Shadow 909 we used to, but they're getting simultaneous release dates more and more often, mostly because of pirating. Man, did you see that chick? That was a hottie. But But many movies, there's still like a 4 or 5 month gap of time before they're released here. But some movies, like I think like Mission Impossible, for example, I think was released simultaneously here. You know, big budget movies, blockbuster. Transformers, I think might have been. I don't know. But anyway, they've gotten closer. But the main reason is because the people will get like fan subbed versions of it illegally on the internet before it gets to the theater here. So more and more they're trying to release them at the same time. I was not here when Star Wars came out, so I don't know. And to answer, no guests today. I've actually got a number of guests lined up, but they're not too distant future. But nobody seemed to be available actually physically today. But everybody else I asked was like, yeah, sure, just not this Friday. You know. In pure heart, you have no idea. Watch me erotically eat this bagel sandwich. Yeah, love it. Love it. That's TokyoCooney porn right there. Jesse James, you're a sane human being. Oh God. Oh, internet. The other thing about movies here is essentially, I get this question a lot, but the wide majority of films here are subtitled. Japanese people, generally speaking, don't like voiceovers as much, except for animations. Like, for example, I don't know, like, what's that movie? Shrek is only released, I think, with voiceovers. They don't do any, like, subtitle versions of Shrek, I don't think. But all the others, almost everything else is generally subtitled, not dubbed. It's only, like, and essentially, I don't care really what you personally think, but the general feeling is that people who like dubbed are low class and stupid, and people who like subtitles are slightly more educated and international minded. So the only time I tend to see dubbed is when they broadcast on TV like a Nicolas Cage action film. It's like The Rock broadcasted on like Saturday night at 8 o'clock. They'll have it like voiced over. But nobody, I think, likes the voiceover version except for retarded people. And I find it the same way in the States. I always found myself like shuddering when I'd hear like Americans say, I can't really watch like, you know, foreign movies. Reading the subtitles makes me tired. And it's like seeing people say like, black and white, I just can't watch black and white movies. It's just, you know, I shudder when I hear those people open their stupid mouths. Hey, if that's how you feel and think, okay, more power to you, but I am diametrically opposed to your way of thinking. Yeah, like it gives me a headache to read subtitles when I'm watching a movie. Well, fuck you. Yeah. The fuck you is directed at the imaginary person I'm talking to in this explanation, by the way. Not you people. Not you lovely people. Fast tracks, that's an excellent idea. Question. Different reasons I've heard is, one, for deaf people, two, for elderly people, and people from different regions, because there are a lot of similar sounding words, homonyms, in Japanese, and so some people think it makes it easier to understand. But the greatest reason, I think, and this is the one I'm behind, is Japanese TV producers are convinced that the more shit you cram into the screen, the more entertaining it will be. And if you go back even 10 years, a typical like talk show with famous people would have like a little bit of a like decorative set, and they'd have like 5 or 6 famous people on it. But now, like the average 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock show done by like SMAP or Katori or like one of these boy bands that does like a primetime show, the set is like some impressionistic pile of vomit with flashlights and robotic moving birds and shit. And they have a minimum of like 30 to 40 guest stars, all in like bench seating. And they fight by saying like whoever can say the most outrageous and ridiculous thing, or cry, or come out and say they're gay or something, do something outrageous, will get airtime. So the higher number of like gaynojin or like famous people like increases the level to which they will sink to get camera time. And then on top of that, they layer all of this stuff so they can like put in bold a certain word so you know what the punchline point was and what the person just said, so you know to laugh. And then they have a little picture-in-picture with a video of a famous person watching what you're watching, and so you know to laugh at the right time because the person in the picture-in-picture is laughing. Oh wait, no, now they're crying, so now you know it's sad. So basically, it's just gotten out of hand, and it's slowly escalated, where they just try and cram more shit onto the screen and make it busier and busier to make it, they think, better. And actually, I had a guest on this show a long time ago, a DJ for a radio station here in Japan, in Kamasami Kong. And I was talking about this with him, and also this other guy, Caleb, who's a music promoter and writer here. And he says the same thing about the Japanese and J-pop. He said, like, every single beat, every measure, they cram as much possible shit into it as is humanly possible. You cannot have in a Japanese song any moment of like just like relaxation or like give it a breath. It's got like every fucking second's got to have something crammed in there, and it's like it's across the board on popular entertainment like music, TV. This more is better mentality, and it's kind of been the death at some level of popular art. I mean, in the States, we do it too on lower brow programming, but here it's out of control. It's totally out of control. It's like, yeah, like the beauty of simplicity is totally dead on Japanese like primetime shitty TV. Like on other types of art, it still exists, like architecture or something like that. But not even like interior design, architecture. I'm sure there's some movement in the same direction to make things busy, but yeah, the simple is beautiful is dead here. And Field 22, you're right. Adult stars can cross over into mainstream in a way they can't in the U.S. I think because the general perceptions about sexuality are different, and there's no concept of sin in Buddhism or Shinto the way there is in Christianity. Yeah, also, I don't know about the Black Eyed Peas, but I mean, this guy, I gotta have him on the show, he's great. He's a really talented musician, music producer, songwriter, named Caleb. Yeah, he bemoans it that just like they're killing the music by overdoing it. And like what black musicians hopefully taught the world is how much more powerful laying back a little bit at some points can be for the overall song. Like just let it have a little bit of air. Don't like cram everything in, and it's completely, the lesson's been lost here. Bagel done. All right, done. Where were we? Oh yeah, I've been here 8 years. Actually, my Japanese birthday is July 14th. So actually, just this month, 8 years ago, I came to Japan. I used to have a Japanese birthday party every now and then. Every couple of years, I've had one. I didn't have one this year, but yeah, White Blossom, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking specifically of Leah Dizon. Leah Dizon, who is like an abortive mess of music. And thankfully, I think to some extent she failed. She failed miserably because I think people are stupid, but there's a point at which even stupid people are like, oh, come on. This is just shit, dude. Really? Really? This is, as you said, Face Wishes, this shit's retarded, you know? And I think that's what happened with Leah Dizon. Her career did not really take off musically because it was just too shitty for people to even begin to handle. It's like the Paris Hilton album was the same thing. It's like you can pretty much make just about anybody into a musician star if you're a big enough company, but there's a limit. There's a limit, and like with Paris Hilton, it was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, nobody's buying this, you know. But like, it's possible to get almost anybody, you know, almost anybody. Yeah, when is my J-pop debut going to happen? Actually, I've been working on. I did this song about a year ago because this is why I fucking hate my life right now. I don't have time. Like a year ago, I wrote this song called "Otsukare Samba," which is like the I don't know. It's the end of the day samba, I guess, but it's a pun in Japanese. And I wrote this whole song about like it's like a drinking song, like, you know, work is done, let's go drink, and like sexually harass the office workers. And I did it in this like crazy, like weird Mexican outfit, like it's like a yellow tuxedo with black velvet trim. And I went to Enten no Kami-sama, which is a TV show here in Japan. I have like basically an open invite with them to come and try bits for them anytime I want. And I go every now and then, and they tell me it sucks, and say, but come back again sometime. But anyway, so I wrote this whole song, and I've wanted to like film it, like do a music video of it. I'd like various locations around town with like backup dancers and stuff. Because it would be like the most horrific thing ever. It would be so horrible, to a point where it would be funny, I hope. But I just haven't had the time to get my shit together to actually do it. And actually, I want to rewrite it so it reflects like the recession, like then it would be topical. But no time. Japan fan, they don't actually sell used panties and vending machines in Japan. That is an urban legend. I may have contributed to it at some level. I don't know, but it's like they definitely sell used panties outside of vending machines. And they definitely sell new panties inside vending machines. But I can't verifiably say I've seen used panties in a vending machine. Or as Trina says, some people say it did happen at one time, but it's gone now. I think, like, the second year I was here, just before the World Cup, I found like a little porn corner when I was like just wandering around town on a walk. And I swear that had those used panties in a vending machine. I swear I saw it, but I've gone back and it was gone. Like around the time of the World Cup, especially in the area where I was living, they took a lot of the weird, crazy shit off the street so as not to freak out tourists, and that disappeared around that time. So I think I believe I saw it, but I've worked online, and the wide majority of people who I would consider experts on Japan all say that it's an urban legend. So now I'm doubting my own. Like, I was drunk on that walk, by the way, as well, so I can't clearly remember. But I think I saw it, but it could have been just regular panties. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know. It was a lot of fun when I first got here. That was one of the most entertaining things to do when I got to Japan. Was basically go to a convenience store, buy a beer, and just go for a walk and get lost. Get lost in the neighborhood somewhere, and then wherever I ended up, try and find a small little yakitori restaurant or nomiya. Go in, have something to eat, have a drink, chat with some random people, and then half drunk try and find my way back home. That was the wide majority of my fun for a lot of the time I was in the States. Sorry, in where the hell I come? In Japan, like in the very beginning. After about 3 years, I really started doing that a lot less. Now, I don't do it at all. I barely explore the neighborhood I just moved to at all. I mean, very rarely. No, Government 9, like, I brought nothing that I could consider big. I literally bought just clothing. That's all I brought. A couple books, like a Japanese study book, which I still haven't opened, and a, what else? What else did I bring? A shit ton of, like, toothpaste and deodorant. So I had read online that it's hard to get deodorant, which is true. Japanese deodorant sucks. And actually, it was like my second week in Japan. My roommate at the time's girlfriend had a party, and I met her very good friend. And she, like, the next day came over to my house for dinner, and she was like, I don't know, going through my shit in my room, and she found my warehouse of toothpaste and deodorant that I had, and she was like livid, pissed off. She's like, why do you have like a year's supply of deodorant and toothpaste here? And I was like, well, I thought I should bring it. And she's like, why? Because what do you think, we're barbarians and we don't have like hygienic materials here? And I was like, how do I answer this and still retain the possibility of getting laid? You know, but she thought that was so like rude that like a foreigner would bring shit like that to Japan as though Japan is some like third world nation, you know, where this stuff doesn't exist, like where we don't have toothpaste in Japan. But it's true. I mean, like I read online, and actually toothpaste is fine, unless there's a specific brand of toothpaste I like. I think it's Colgate has a cinnamon flavored toothpaste, which is just awesome. And so I had my mom send that to me. And deodorant, like Japanese deodorant's a fucking joke. It's a joke. So I have massive supplies of deodorant shipped to me by people on the outside. It's like being in prison. It's ridiculous. But you have to keep that a secret from the locals. They're not pleased by that idea. Old Spice. I'm a jail man now. I think it's right guard. Sports active. It's funny how you sports active, but the most active thing I do in a given day, well, it's a kind of exercise. Anyway. See what you did there. Fire-breathing ape. It's such a hard question. It's like, if you really, really fucking commit to it, I've seen people become like native speaker-ish in a decade. Depending on what, like if you're coming from China or another country with a somewhat similar language system, it could take you less time. But if you're stupid, it will take you longer. There's so many possible factors that it's impossible to even begin to give a general. But I mean, it took me 2 years of living here and taking classes. I was taking man-to-man classes, an hour each class, twice a week, for about 2 years to get to the point where I could have basic conversations with people and understand essentially what was happening around me. Now, 8 years later, I get like 60-70% of TV, I think. And I generally can express what I want, but I often find situations where I can't quite explain something. If we get into topics like religion, like this was 2 weeks ago, I was at this bar I usually hang out at in Ikebukuro, and the owner and I got in this deep conversation about how he wanted to go to Okinawa to see the solar eclipse, and it's the one time it'll happen in like the century. And for him, he was like really into astrology when he was a kid, but now he runs a bar and he's got a kid and a wife and he can't go. And he was all depressed. And we had this like deep philosophical drunk conversation till like 4 a.m. about, you know, different things that you wanted to do in life, but reality comes in between the possibility of doing it. And that conversation was really pushing the outer limits of my language ability. And it was only later on when I like got home, I looked up a couple words and I realized, oh, that's what he meant. You know, there's quite a bit of misunderstanding also going on, because like discussing astronomy is not something I have the vocabulary range for. You know, if we were talking about food, women, or drinking, I'm set. I'm totally set. I can talk ad infinitum about those topics. But astronomy, religion, and politics. Yeah. Like yesterday, I was trying to explain to a friend that like hair grows when cells die, and it's not. I mean, there's no way. I can't even begin to imagine how to express that concept. Like, so there's definite like limits based on certain areas. I don't know what the fucking word for cell is in Japanese. How often does that come up, you know? So again, like when you say, how long does it take to become fluent? Like, well, what do you mean by fluent? I mean, so that I can discuss cellular structure? Like, what is mitochondria in Japanese? I don't fucking know, and I'm probably never gonna know. So, yeah, so who knows? Known M kanji. No, I don't know known M kanji. What is that? Yeah, and by the way, the number of viewers does not make me any more or less interesting as a person. So I would not worry about it. Which actually I think is the key to YouTube, blogTV, and any internet adventure, is that as soon as you worry about the number of people in the room, you have become boring. Yes, I did Japan fan. Their language. Oh, sorry. I just didn't understand kanji written as one word. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, to know something in the sense that you completely understand it, no, I don't, obviously not. The average Japanese person needs about 3,000 kanji to, like, read a newspaper. I have Japanese, I don't know if I say friends, but I know Japanese people who are illiterate, honestly. I have, there's a guy I used to drink with, construction worker, I used to drink with a lot when I first went to Japan, who literally was illiterate. On the other hand, I know Japanese people who know, like, as a Chinese person might, upwards of like 10,000 kanji. I probably know 1,000 something, I'm guessing. I can read, but there's a lot of educated guessing going on. Because I mean, at work, I get emails and send emails constantly in Japanese, but every now and then, Google Translate needs to help a brother out. That guy in the suit is pretty intense. Yeah, you don't have to ask if you have a question, just ask it. Upcoming shows, you mean my stage comedy show, or blog TV, or YouTube, or I'm the hard. Yeah, boner boy. Yeah. This is what we do. Stage comedy. Let me check. I think it's the third Tuesday at the Crocodile. No, the third Tuesday in the. Hold on a second. So the next show I'm aware of is. Come on, stupid iPhone. August 18th in Shibuya, and August 28th in Shibuya. On my page, on my YouTube, like my YouTube user page, I have the show listings usually listed on the page there, or just go to the comedy group's website, TokyoCooney.com, and it lists all the shows. Steve Fryer, nothing. You didn't see anything. Forget about it. Yes, Pitaka, I will definitely be doing a comedy show in October. Again, the best thing to do is just check that website and look at the dates. There's like a 90% chance I'll be there. If you are going, I would say email me beforehand just to make sure I'm going to be on that night. But generally speaking, I never miss a show. Actually, that fast tracks, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I don't think I could get into my first apartment being a gaijin. I think if someone, like some random Japanese person, opens their door and there's a guy just comes like, "Can I come in and film the inside of your apartment? I used to live here. I want to put it on the internet." I don't think that's going to go over well. But actually, the first place I went, I think that's a really good idea. My first, coming to grips with the city. I like that idea. That would be awesome, Alicia in Tokyo. If you're coming, PM me on YouTube and tell me what show you're coming to. If it's one of the shows has a door charge, and the shows often are standing room only. Like the last 3-4 months, if you didn't reserve in advance, you can't get in. So if you're coming, let me know and I can reserve a table. Especially the one on the 4th Friday is basically always sold out about 3 or 4 days before the show. So just in case. You should film pancakes for an hour. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that almost every day. It's just finding the right pancakes. Excellent job, Reptilian Chair. How are you taking the time out of commenting on my user page, Reptilian Chair, to be here? Or do you have like 2 laptops out and you're writing comments on my user page with 1 laptop while talking to me on this? You have definitely won the most user comments award of the year. Do you know any good websites for employment in Japan? The most famous one is gaijinpot.com. Gaijinpot.com is the most known one. I would check out the video I did called FYI Work. I think there's some good links on the side in the text explanation there. So yeah, I'd check that out if you're curious. Covered that last week. We cover everything every week, apparently, because the internet is non-linear. NCK moving along? No. In a word, no. I can't even begin to imagine leaving as the economy is as it is now. And even if the economy does rebound in the next several years, after that, it's possible. I don't see why I would. Essentially, if I have some type of mental breakdown and decide that I want to go back and try and write in the States, that would be the reason. Or if I had a child and I wanted them to go to an American school system. Those would be the only two foreseeable reasons. Also, Seek Japan is another website that has, I think this is the website. Maybe, I don't know. It's a magazine called Japanzine, but they have a help wanted thing on that. The Japan Times has often classified advertisements on Mondays. There's a bunch of places out there. Is there anything bad with the Japanese school system? Bullying. There's a lot of bullying in Japanese schools. They say that at least is the largest problem. And bullying in Japan is entirely different than bullying in the States, and that in Japan it's psychological. This is so hard to even begin to explain, but essentially what they do when they dislike a kid is pretend that the person is basically dead or invisible, and no one will recognize the existence of that person, and it slowly drives them mentally ill. Get your fat little fucking salaryman head out of my video. So it's insane and evil. And there's been a lot of cases recently that have been big in the news about Japanese kids committing suicide or killing classmates at like age of like 11 or 12 due to bullying. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, when I was a kid, bullying meant the bigger, fatter kids beating the shit out of me, and like that happened regularly. I'm not ashamed to admit, but like there's something in some ways not so damaging about it. Like you get a dead arm and like some black and blues on your like arm, but it's kind of necessary to grow into manhood, I think. But the psychological hazing that they do in Japan is frightening. It's frightening. It's I've witnessed it only once. I teach a junior high school class at a prestigious Japanese junior high school. I just like it's once a week on Tuesdays. I do it. It's fun. But one time I was covering for another person, and there's this one kid who was like the exile, and like the guys and girls sat in two groups in the front of the room, and this other girl sat in the furthest back corner. And so I tried to like change shit up by getting them to like go in a line and like take turns talking to each other. And every student who got to the kid who was being shunned refused to speak to the kid. It was hilarious. I mean hilarious in a oh my god, what a horrible world we live in kind of way. And it's the same thing for teachers. Here, when students want to piss off a teacher, they go silent. They go dead silent. Like nobody will answer anything. You ask them a question, they just go. and it drives the teacher insane. I taught high school in the States for a year, and this woman who taught the high school warned me. She's like, "Oh yeah, in Japan it's totally different. Your biggest challenge is going to be quiet classrooms." And I couldn't even begin to understand what the hell she was talking about. But it really is when you've got like 40 kids in the room, and no matter what you do or say, none of them will say anything. It's so psychological, it fucks you up as a teacher, so hardcore psychologically. It's like, it's a weird power thing. It's amazing. So like most shitty teachers in Japan, they just lecture for 40 minutes and the students do nothing. And cool teachers are able to make their classes interactive. But if you're a shitty teacher, you end up just being a lecture class. No idea, Fast Tracks, no idea. I was a cool teacher in the U.S. In the U.S., my students adored me. In fact, some of them tracked me down over the years. But with Japanese kids, I'm not as good at connecting. I think they don't get my sense of humor. You know. So I dislike teaching children in Japan, but when I was teaching high school in the States, I fucking loved it. It was awesome. Catholic high school. Basically, I got out to LA and I needed a job. I got there in like August. Got an apartment. I went to Office Depot and bought a receipt thing and I forged a receipt for a fictional company I was working for to get my apartment. And then I was like, oh shit, but I actually have to earn money now. I applied to like Starbucks and like other random like jobs, and they all like shot me down because they're like, yeah, you're going to be gone in a week when you get a better job, so we're not going to hire you. We'd rather have a Mexican who will work here for the next 30 years and not complain. So actually, I got rejected by Starbucks. And so I was getting kind of desperate. So what I did was I got a listing of every Catholic high school in Orange County and Los Angeles County, and I sent all of them a letter saying, hello, I am a young and eager Catholic male looking for a job teaching. And I got back responses from 2 schools out of like, it must have been like 100 letters I sent out, both of which, like it was like now 3 or 4 weeks out from the school year starting, and they were like, are you a human being? Do you have a pulse? You will do this? Okay, you're hired. Because they were just literally weeks away from the school year starting. A teacher had bailed on them, and I came across well in the interview, so they were like, you're in. And I was a good teacher. I mean, I think I did an excellent job. But it literally was the desperation of the school. I taught sophomore American literature and senior contemporary literature, which is a kind way to say the basic class. But they were awesome. They were awesome. Fuck Walmart. No, the 2 Japanese behind me, they're now deep in their fascinating conversation about nothing. Oh, Target is where it's at. Whenever I want to go back to the States and remember how depressingly fat the majority of Americans are, I go to Target. That's where I go to get a little dose of reality. And I see like some enormous person on like the handicapped go-kart, like wheeling around the store looking for the discount bag of marshmallow fluff, you know. It's like, oh, humanity. Do I have any opinions on the shut-in epidemic in Japan? A general theory, a very general theory, which is, I think, generations that have a lot of brothers and sisters are on the whole healthier than generations with lots of single-child like kids. Because single-child kids, I think generally, and even just two kids, generally tend to develop a worldview based completely on themselves. And kids who grow up in families with like 4 or 5 siblings realize, yeah, you've got to fight for attention. You've got to fight for a little bit of something. I think they grow up healthier. I generally think, like, you know, big families can produce like stable kids in a way that like every like Japanese kid, like, because now the average Japanese woman has 0.9 children in Tokyo. 0.9. You need like 2.1 to just replace the population as it is. In Tokyo, it's 0.9. In the country as a whole, it's like 1.2 or 1.3. So if people have a child at all, they have one. And that one child is this little prince. And unfortunately, this generation of little princes have become narcissistic and self-indulgent, and so no one whoops their ass. If I had been like a hikikomori, a shut-in, when I was a kid, I think my mom and dad would have smacked me in the back of the head and said, "Get the fuck outside and play on your bicycle. Stop being a douchebag. You know, what's your fucking problem? There's nothing wrong with your life. Like, you want problems, move to West Africa. Become a child soldier." You know? But that was my parents. And unfortunately, I think all of the kids who are like shut-ins, I blame their parents who are enabling them to be basically narcissistic douchebags, feeding off of their family's income. But I personally put the blame on the number of children per household. I have no idea if that has any connection at all. It's my just pet theory. And freeders, I think, is a non-existent thing. It's like freeders, basically a freeder is a person who's like, you know, around 20-something. They work a part-time job, and on the side they play guitar in front of the train station, or they paint, or they do something. And I think that's a normal thing in almost every society. Young people who are following some type of other bizarre dream. Well, any generation that didn't have to work from when they were 13 to survive. You know, the ones where everything was paid for them. They basically are seen by Japanese people as narcissistic and irresponsible because they should be out getting a real job so that they can make money to get a house and get married. But part of me I'm 31 and I'm a freelance comedian and writer. So essentially I am a freeder by any other term. I have a kind of soft spot in my heart for those people. But at some level, it's like, yeah, dude, you're not going to be a rock star, so suck it up and get a real job. You know, but at least they're working. Like the hikikomori can't leave home because they view it as a mental illness, like not agoraphobic, but just fear of society, being outside people, you know. And as my brother, it's his line, like the best medicine for that type of disease is to drink one big tall glass and shut the fuck up. But yeah, freeders. There's also a NEET. A NEET is a not in education, employment, or training. And they're people who are like, they're not in school, they're not at work, they're not training to get work. They just kind of exist off of like their family's money, and often their parents are too weak to force their kids to actually do something. They're freeloaders, leeches. Yeah, they're basically leeches. Another word they have is parasite single, which means like a single person who doesn't have a job, well, has a job but works at home. Hold on, I gotta take a phone call. I'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm gonna make a phone call.
それに合わせて、それはもう僕が例えばもう1,500万円である程度できるなら、一応残し続ける。それをだから、できれば。例えば、西さんに抜けられるんだったら、西さんで抜けちゃう。ちょっと若干だけ作ってそういうので設計段階からレースが仕組めるからで、まあ、会社との話だと、まあ、今までは下手にないから、ここはいわゆるあるけど、まあ、管理とか設計のことができて、会社とか、なんかにそれができて、それができるのは、いいんだよ。それだと、これ僕ちょっとそういう個人の別会社に一応今社員っていうことになってるんですよ。で、これをその会社なんだけど、こちらにしろ方向性の違いもあって、抜けることになったんですよ、ちょうど。で、それが7月いっぱいなのか、8月いっぱいっていう話だったんですけど、今 FB ホールディングスでやってる仕事が伸びてるんで、だからとにかく8月末までにしてもらって、フリーになるんですよ。で、だから逆に、その社交辞令的に言ってるのはどうかわからないけど、日清さんの方をやらせてくれるんだったら、例えば日清の法人とかそういうので、例えば何かやるにもさ、設計側で、施工側で設計をしたりとか、みんながそういう使い方を知っていただきたいし、あともう一つが、まあ、これはちょっとお願いなんですけど、ちょうど今、10年間の方で、それ10歳ぐらいのマンション1個やってるんですよ。それ一応して先行だったんですけど、先行出て、動画がちょうどチーム全部毎回になったので、ちょっとこの天候があるんで、8月に再起業だし、でそこまで伸びたんだけど、逆にまあ、まず就航都市とかね、力半分で大体こう収入をしてるんで、次の現場に行ってたんですけど、まだちょっと9月始まらないですけど、それとかバンクを思ってたんですよ。だから逆にそれもしやる人は事務所を作っていただいて、そこで説明してほしい。あと、結局これは一つ分からないのは、まあ、マガでは結構言うことを言うから、まあ、例えば小林さんがどう思ってるか、この部分でね、俺はそのほら、まあ、品が言うからしょうがねえっていうのあれだし、結局やるなら1たす1が2ぐらいのためになるようにしたいわけですよ。やってはだっていうのもやりたいし、だからその辺で、社長がどう思われてるのかどうか。で、僕としては、まあ、タイミングもいいし、いい話なので、僕も看板がないですよ。例えばじゃあ、西の看板をしたいから、それば、結構、どうしてもいいし、どっかに飛ばせなくて自分のところで取れば、よくなる。ただ、まあ、結局、下の方で受けてる仕事もあるから、これもできるとかあるかもしれないけど、だから僕がいて、一歩入って、その資格がいいから、十分、会社としてもできるですし、ただ、場合によっては、資格受けてもらっていいの不明の部分があるんですよ。そういう人にどうするか。そのままだから、俺のものそうしといて、そうするか。だから別に俺はもう、今回、やって、もともと有限会社なんだけど、法人がそういう有限会社で、建設業を作って、で、取った暁に、一応、一個の会社を紹介してやって、そこを登録させたんですよ。で、だんだんでかくなってくると、自分の利益中心になってきちゃうから、それであと、日本が入ってきて、いろいろなものが出てきて、この会社のどこに 遊ばせるから貸してくれっていうことで、売り上げが上がりすぎちゃうんで、僕は自主の SS を通して、でその間にだから、提供でもらうって話だったんですが、そのところはいくらそういうプログラムも、これ1000万くらい、まあじゃあ、とりあえず毎日の形で、ただその、子供と関係ある。
Sorry. Actually, I'm gonna get a tea. Hold on a second again. Sorry.
今もから、社会保険当然抜けると思う。ただ、抜けないと次の年に進むって言ってたから、だからそれにしても、ある程度、だから、いわゆる断定的に、240万とかで、まあ、アクセスで、病状の方が、それをこっちにするので、いう話なんですし、だからそのこれはもうこんな形でもいいです。だから、それは金儲けだと思うから、みんながただその一人ものはそれでいいんですけど、そのやるその保険だとか、そういう金が実質から、その辺がクリアになるから、そっちはもう僕自体はそうですし、あとはもうこちらのノウハウ中間すべてまずあれ藤尾さんのお父さんなんかも藤尾さんとかの時代ですよね。藤尾さんとつるんでた人なんですけど、いや、俺もだから、まあ俺なんかが言ったんですけど、初めて藤尾さんの、まあ、俺ちょっと後この外人ブラック側に別荘がある天皇学園のところに入ってたんですよ。団体がで、その時で最初は別にその団体の一人としてお世話になったんだけど、その5ぐらいになって個人的に藤尾さんのことを付き合ううちの親を付き合うようになって、それがあるんですよ。だから僕は大学の時に実は僕が大木さんのお母さんを勉強して年中にだからよくなんか僕は好きなんですよ。
それはまあ将来自分の本当の会社になって
そこがね、俺結構面白くて、あんなにね、なんか会社って道具だから、どうするんですか。例えば、どっかの会社作って上の会社作って、それでバリたいってそんなのないんですよ。実際は、一番いいのは個人とか非常に世間の人がいるんだけど、まあ、特に個人事業だと特に名前だから、だから個人事業は難しいってことですね。ただね、やっぱその、まあ、いろいろお仕事されてるから、やっぱり今、ちょっとそういうやつが、ただちょっと金を儲けられるようなチームがある。やっぱし、このような、まあ、簡単なないので、まあ、社長が一本で仕事やってくれるような人たちがいっぱいいるから、そういう人たちがつながりを作ることに、やっぱこんだけの技術力とこんだけの人たちがいるのかな、これなんかできねえかっていうのが結構だから、それは当然仕事やるからそれもでかいな。で、だからその人も鉄道が儲けるっていうよりは、まあ結局こんだけ儲かって、じゃあみんなで、まあ俺はね、社会主義すごい好きじゃない。いや、頑張ってるから、頑張ってるから、頑張ってるから、まあいいシステムだと思ってるからだけど、今その頑張っていい仕事がみんなに、やられちゃうと思うじゃん。いや、その代弁者みたいなシステムで、なんとかうまくできるようになって、ただ、最終的に、
Work. Sorry.
最終的にそれまで一応集金システム作ってて、だから
1 second, I have to. Anyway, so where were we? Ooh, haters. How awful. Iced tea.
ちょっと調子いい口の利いてると、あとはその、まあ、その職人よりは、そのまあ建築のノウハウじゃないですけど、
The band hammer. You know, the thing is, like with the band hammer, I do get a little bit of enjoyment out of banning people. It's the one small piece of power I have in this cruel, unforgiving world. But it's not worth my time to click something so worthless. I mean, it's seriously, they are the they are like the gonorrhea of the internet. Am I a contributor to the arts? Yeah, I guess I am. I often go to like small art shows around Tokyo and pay a ridiculous amount of money to see mediocre art. I do feel like kind of a obligation of an urban dweller of my type to support such things. Banzi? No. Not even vaguely. One second, sorry guys. One second. Okay, sorry. I am now finally done with this stupid thing, and I'm running out of time too. I fucking hate my life. Where were we? Reptilian chair? You got kicked? I didn't kick you. And I'm the only person who could have kicked you, so I don't think you got kicked. There could have been a computer malfunction, but I don't think I kicked you. That's bizarre. I've kicked one person so far, and that was fuck, who was it? That's not on the screen anymore. Anyway, so what were we talking about? How huge is Pokemon in Japan? Huge. It's actually, of course, obviously bigger here than I think it would be anywhere else in the world. Especially in summertime, they do this thing like where at every station on the train line, they have a little stand decorated with Pokemons, and you go there and you stamp like a little passport. And so during the day on weekdays or weekends, you see all these kids wearing little Pokemon hats with this little passport book, and they go from station to station to get every stamp to fill up the book. And that's the exciting world of having a child in Japan. That's what your weekend becomes after you have a kid. See, guys, if you talk about it, then it makes it more annoying. Learn to be Japanese about it and just ignore. Here, I'll ban the douchebag. I have banned and now banning X, Z, it's a pain in the ass. That guy go. Anyway, he's banned. I don't even know why I banned him. KMD Bleach depends on your sense of humor. Japanese TV shows tend to be kind of lowbrow. It's not all Japanese TV, but the wide majority is lowbrow. And so as a result, you get I don't know. A lot of foreigners here rail on Japanese TV, but the biggest thing you have to understand is their budgets are so much lower than what we have in the States. Like, for example, Prison Break is something like $1 million to $2 million an episode. The average Japanese TV show, if they're lucky, about 300,000, 400,000. That's big. That's like for a drama, you know. So I mean, they have a fraction of the budget. So the fact that they can even fill the airtime is sometimes a miracle. There's regional channels. In Tokyo, we probably have like 10 or 11 channels on public broadcast. Ghost RPG, in a word, no. Exactly. Hyacinth. KMD Bleach, no, I'm not in any way at all interested in anime. Doesn't mean it's bad, I just don't like it. Yeah, I know. The Japanese TV season is broken into like 4 seasons, and 12 episodes is a normal run for a season. And shows almost never, ever have a second season. It's just once a show is done, it's done. They never do second seasons. West Sider X, I always look high. I was born that way. I am tired, actually. This week was rough. Thank God it's Friday. After this, I have to go to a meeting, which I'm not looking forward to. The phone call I just had was an extremely tense one, to say the least. And I'm about to go kick some Japanese ass in an hour. I'm afraid if I got high, I might look normal. No, nothing I feel like talking about. Who else was supposed to get a knock? White Blossom. I think they definitely have less violence and gore. I don't know that they have less sex. It's weird. You had to keep in mind, like, public broadcast or like cable. I mean, like HBO cannot compare to, for example, like public broadcast Japanese dramas. But like primetime NBC, CBS, ABC. He should be gone now. Yeah, the arcades. The only thing I like in arcades is first-person shooter games. I love those. And so every now and then when I'm walking past randomly an arcade, I'll go in and drop like 500 yen on a first-person shooter. But otherwise, there's nothing in an arcade that interests me. I used to own a gun when I was in the States, and up on my grandfather's farm, would spend many summer afternoons shooting at tin cans. It's one of the fun things about being an American. Of course, guns are bad. They kill people. Insert message here. But it actually is. I had a 22. It's a rifle. I mean, you'd have to really, really work to kill somebody with a 22. But that was fun. I think I got my first air rifle when I was like 14. It was a total, Christmas story moment. My uncle, who was insane, gave it to me as a Christmas present. And I got a crossbow too. That was the most brilliant one. My grandfather gave me a crossbow when I was 16, like an actual medieval crossbow. And it had to have maybe an 80-pound pull on the string. And I was so excited, and my mom freaked out until my grandfather explained that I would not be strong enough to ever pull the string back on the crossbow to load it. And it's true. As a kid, I try as I might, I was not able to actually cock the crossbow because it was too hard for a little kid. But I thought I was the coolest person in the world because I had a crossbow. It was a brilliant move on the part of Grandpa. It was as soon as I got strong enough to actually be able to use it, they took it away. Actually, my great uncle and my grandfather, both of them were avid hunters. They owned farms in upstate and motorcycles. They were badass, true and blue American, dudes. One was a fireman, the other guy was a high-rise construction worker. Awesome. Total different generation, though, than the pussies in my generation, including me. They both rode Indian motorcycles. That was a whole different world. Yeah, in Japan, it's funny. One of the most popular things, one of the most popular foreign destinations, if not the most popular foreign destination for Japanese people is Hawaii. And one of the most popular things for them to do in Hawaii is go to a shooting range. So Japanese people love condemning Americans for owning guns, but there's a huge tourist industry in shooting ranges in Hawaii for Japanese retirees on vacation who want to know what it feels like to fire off a 45. Japan fan? Because it's like smoking, leather jackets, motorcycles. All of these things I guess essentially are bad in one way or another, but they're fucking cool. They're cool. Stop trying to fight it. They're cool because they are dangerous and stupid. Actually, my favorite thing, back when I was teaching, I used to have a catalog, a mail order catalog from a hunting supply store, and I used to show the people you can mail order a rifle for $50, and that blows Japanese people's minds. Camouflage bed linens, toy gun sets for children age 5 and up. That they simulate hunting with little plastic toys and a little gun that shoots a little thing. It's such a culture shock for them. And then they have a whole other section with bone saws and other tools for carving up large animals, sausage grinders and things like that. It totally freaks out Japanese people when they show them that catalog. It's unthinkable to them that such a culture exists. Nck drug policies here are incredibly strict, and marijuana is classed as the same way as heroin or other hard drugs. They're incredibly strict on drugs in this country. as a result, there's very little drug use. But alcohol is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in this country. Unlike the States, which does have some pretty, in some areas have restrictive alcohol licenses. I find it quite ironic myself. Yeah, I mean, if you go to clubs, you can find anything in Tokyo. You can get anything in the city. It's just not as easy to find as it would be in the States. Like when I was a kid in New York, like you could not walk across Washington Square Park without getting offered narcotics like every 5 seconds. Like Tompkins Square, like everywhere you looked was heroin needles scattered about. Now both those places are much better than they used to be. But it's like here, it's like you have to go to like a certain corner in Shibuya or a certain part of Shinjuku, and you can find a sketchy-looking Iranian guy on the corner who can get you whatever it is you want. But it's not nearly as like all over. And the percentage of like the mainstream population that use any type of narcotic is incredibly small. Like I think in the U.S. there's a lot of like normal citizenry who just light up a joint now and again, but like the average office worker in Japan does not do that. You know, it's just not available in the same way. Yeah, West Sider. Actually, I think after this meeting, I'm done at 3. I got a meeting at 3. After that, I think I can go home and edit. I'm not sure to try and edit together the supermarket longer video or put up the Gundam Odaiba video, which is short, but I can get that up soon. So I'll get home tonight and I'll edit something together. Yes, Bonzi, I did. I know those ramen shops actually. Especially Ivan Ramen. It's quite famous lately. I look official. Never heard that before. MacGyver in Japan. I don't think MacGyver was ever big here. Pretty sure not. Odd question. The ramen here, that's like, I mean, as I said in my video about ramen, if I left this country, that would be the single thing I miss the most, probably. 135, thank you for noticing my crappy hair. You are correct, sir. The thing I hate just about spamming and all this shit is like, if you really want to get people to come see your shit, take that time you're spending to spam people and produce something worthwhile to watch. For God's sakes, it's like people whose like YouTube videos consist only of saying, please subscribe to my channel. It's like, how about you just redirect some of that energy towards making some type of viewable content, and you'll actually get people to view. Uber Gimp, I get a haircut about once every month and a half or 2. Not so often. You're right, Authority Channel. Like, the reality is, some people were born to spam. That's all they have the skill for. But it's weird because, like, since I just shot on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, actually Thursday a little bit too, and the studio is next like Thursday. So basically, the first like 3 days of the week, I wore the same clothing 3 days in a row. and I can't get my hair cut until after the studio thing, I think. No, West Sider, I absolutely do stand-up. I did 2 shows last week. They were fantastic. I enjoyed. Nah, court's not going to get banned. You have to do something a little bit more irritating than that, in my mind. Go here. I mean, actually, like, if you look at my very first YouTube videos, the hair was kind of, like, here-ish. That was long. But I don't think... I'm getting to an age now where having such long hair just looks ridiculous. You know? But that's the problem, Pit Thrasher. I know for a fact the stuff I've shot about the supermarket isn't really worth the wait. And it's like the pressure builds up more because the longer I wait, the more I'm like, oh shit, I gotta come up with something good for this next one because I made people wait for so fucking long. And that makes it like even more stressful. How old am I? I'm 31 until September. What coffee do I drink, Kurt? Black. Japan fan, exactly. I don't know. Helter Skelter. I can't go back to Ice Cream City. It's just too pathetic. Because I really think that officially is, like, then I'm a one-hit wonder with the Ice Cream City thing. You know? It's like beating a dead horse. Actually, 3 times. I visited, I think, 3 times in videos. Do you freelance at all? Fonzie, I only freelance. That's my whole life. Community channel, nah, she's alright. Well, I mean, hopefully, I said I'll try and get the video of it, but it was just yesterday or the day before I ate a live beating fish heart. That was an interesting experience. Bonzi, I have a contract, but I'm still freelance. It's a job specific. So, like, for example, I'm writing a children's show for this season. The season will run about a year, and when it's done, I'm done. That's it. You know. So every job I get, it's contract based for like one project, and some projects are like done in a day. Some projects are done in a year. Tokyo I've been appearing on for 3 years, and I have no contract with them at all. They just call me whenever they feel like it. Yeah, Cordy, I'm really not going to say hi to the person behind me. You can give up on that now. Japan fan. Start my own company. And what, sell locks of my hair over eBay? Yeah, the only thing I've debated, I've thought about this from time to time, and I'm not going to ever do it, but was setting up a website, kind of like a porn website, and charge like, I don't know, like $1 a month, or like $10 a year, and then upload, like, quit some of my other jobs, and then just upload videos onto that website. And then maybe get like other YouTube bloggers to guest blog on it. Basically make a website devoted to blogs by specific people. But I can't do it basically with the work schedule I have now. So, and I think as soon as you bring up the concept of money, getting paid for your videos, a huge number of subscribers freak out and go, oh my god, he's a sellout, he just wants money, he's a douchebag. you know. So it's sort of like, nah, it's not worth it. So I mean, I spend all my time making videos for TV companies, and they pay me to do that. In a perfect world, in a dream world, I'd like to be able to fund myself directly so I could make the kind of stuff I want to, and not have to worry about producers and directors and a large company saying no to all of the good ideas. But what's the most expensive thing you bought? A tenor saxophone. I have a expensive custom Yamaha tenor saxophone. That's my biggest purchase in my life. No, I couldn't come back to the States to start my own company. It would have to be here. I've also dreamed about opening a cafe. I love cafes, I love cooking. I'm going to get tired of doing internet shit. I think I would, and I had enough money, I would open some small cafe here and do that. But I'm destined never to be rich, so. Fate switches, I accept the fact that people like Kenji more than me. You're probably right, Japan fan. Hold on a second. Sorry. Hi, Mistress. I saw your email. I haven't met her. I'm heading over there in about an hour. And I talked to her on the phone.ちょっと社長とまた話してて、一緒に関してもそれがあれば一番良かったんですけど、ちょっとすみません。ぜひ、そういうのがまた、はい、いただければ。わかりました。Yeah, I know. It's bullshit. Alright, I'll see you later. Alright. So, Amazing Nodding Man, I missed it. No, that was one of my allies I was just talking to. That's a good thing. It's work. I don't have social phone calls anymore. Allies like the British, exactly. Exactly. Office politics. Yeah, people nod a lot here. Nodding is about 80% of communication in Japan. Anyway, yeah, I do. And actually, the scariest thing is like when you find yourself like on the phone, literally like, "Hi, wakarimashita, hi, wakarimashita, hi," and like you're doing like the head bow on the phone. It's really scary when you find yourself doing that. Because it's a real Japanese habit. So when, as a foreigner, you start doing it, you're like, "Oh, I'm one of them. I'm one of them." Frightening. We need to overdog it. Well, whatever topic it is, it should be fast because I got about 10 minutes before I got a jet. Fast tracks. No, there's tons and tons of massage places where it's absolutely no problem at all. So the thing is, like that massage place was actually just a cover for prostitution, not actually a massage place. Bizarre as it is, that's. Oh, I definitely have my Epic hair massager. It's at home. I enjoy it. It's right next to my computer. It's fantastic. Boom says the shotgun. Yes, I went to film. This is for a video I did recently at a place that the sign was like ear cleaning for 1,000 yen. But when I walked in, I realized, oh, this is a front for prostitution, and they were like, no gaijin. So generally, the only places that turn foreigners away are illicit businesses. Yeah, Japan fan. That's another video I've been wanting to make. You know. To be honest, it's the issue almost always is about communication. Like that, they're afraid you will not understand the rules of the establishment, and that things will get out of hand in a bad way, and that you could cause some problem that would result in police coming to their establishment. It's a risk. Also, perhaps it might turn off other customers if they see, you know, foreign dude dipping into the same ink as their pen. But essentially, those industries just want to steer clear of any possible trouble, and so I think foreigners for them it's just viewed as a possible situation could occur from a misunderstanding or something like that. No, that was definitely the why is that free talking to his laptop look, not the ooh how sexy look. Sadly, don't laugh. Don't laugh at that. That's not a happy thing. It's on my work closer range. Shibuya and my house are essentially the two places I work, except for satsue, like filming. That could be anywhere. I mean, like last week I was in Morioka for a day for filming, so I could end up anywhere in a given week. But on the whole, I'm in my house, or I have a desk in Gaien Mai, and another office I have to go to sometimes in Shibuya. That's pretty much my whole range of life. The west side of the Yamanote-sen. Not a Starbucks, a Tully's, in fact, which is better than Starbucks, and that it's slightly less evil as a corporate entity. Yeah, bonsai, that's a good idea, actually. I wanted to do like an office spoof of where I work, but I'm just afraid none of my coworkers are going to want to appear in my videos. Reptilian chair, it's on my website. So, on the west side of Japan, I've been out to Kansai to do comedy shows, like stand-up comedy, but I've never done any filming out west. Other than tell you what's my favorite place to go in Japan, my favorite place is probably Shimoda. It's at the southern tip of the Izu Peninsula. It's about 4 or 5 hours south of Tokyo by train. It's a gorgeous little town. It's just this cute little village surrounded by mountains on one side and the ocean on the other side. Beautiful little alleys. It's where the Commodore Perry signed the treaty opening Japan. So it's got some history there as well. But basically, it's a quaint little farming village. Fishing village. You know. Neji 55. $1,000 for what? Shimoda. You can go like skin diving. There's great like onsens, like hot bath springs and like that. There's great ryokan, which is like a traditional Japanese inn. It's just a beautiful place, and it's not that far from Tokyo, you know. Yokohama is nice too, but it's very urban. It's built up. Shimoda is literally like population probably 10,000. I'm in a Tully's Coffee, Excript 1776. Funniest thing I've ever seen in Japan. God, that's hard. That's really hard. Can't even begin. Yeah, I do have to leave actually. I apologize for that. So yeah, I'm gonna go to my meeting. Hope it'll be done briefly. I'm gonna go home and edit shit together. So I can get a video up sometime soon. Alright. So just a quick song before you go. I will not. But anyway, thanks for coming by again this week. I've got lots of guests lined up for the next 3 weeks. A yoga instructor, a voice actor. So that should be fun. Please stop by Fridays at noon Tokyo time if you're around. And thank you guys for coming by and chatting with me. I'm off now to, yes, a female yoga instructor. I'm off now to edit YouTube video. So you people will stop sending me emails making me depressed about how I am a failure as a father to them, my YouTube children. Oh wait, no, it's Friday Tokyo time. Same time as always, Friday noon Tokyo time, which is I guess Thursday 10 or 11 o'clock now on the Eastern Seacoast. Cool. Peace out, my brothers and sisters, and see you somewhere soon. All right, later, folks.